everyone, this is Teresa. As you can tell, today I was feeling very romantic and inspired by like Shabby Chic and all that. So today that's what we're gonna do. So first we're gonna start off with one of these oval metal trays from Dollar Tree. We're just gonna cover that, 2 coats of plaster from Waverly, and then we're gonna take some moss chalk paint or some Waverly chalk paint in moss and some folk art antique wax. And what I'm doing first is I'm just kind of going around the perimeter of this oval tray because I really want those details on the sides of it, to really stick out. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll kind of slowly like move inward. And I was really good about it on this project. You'll see later I didn't do as well, but I was really good on this one about kind of building it up, like, not starting off with so much that it's like, bam, splash of color. You know what I mean? So the inspiration that I had from this one was actually from, I believe, Pinterest or Etsy. It might have been like a Pinterest pin of an Etsy thing. So, but it had a lot of that antiquing wax to it, but I wanted to add the bits of the moss. So next we're going to go in with this little bit of pink. This is called, I believe, Ballet Slipper from Waverly. We're just going to coat that rectangle, also from Dollar Tree. And then I think they come in like a pack of 6. So, and then right here is when I went, bam, there's a lot of paint right there. I was like, oh my gosh, Teresa, you didn't wipe it off at all. So I had to go back in with the, I did the antique waxing. I knew I wanted to do that because I really wanted like a dusty pink. But this is, I think, literally the only pink paint I own. So I don't know. Probably going to have to remedy that sometime soon. But I just kind of basically went in with the pink over everything, just kind of dot it in a couple of spots and then start to blend it out. That's kind of the look I liked on a lot of these projects, is where you kind of just go back and forth between all the different paint colors you use and basically like smudge them together, give them like a really well blended look. Like I didn't want anything to be too like stark. You know what I mean by that, hopefully. That's kind of where I was going with this. And you see that nice big splotch of paint right there on my desk. Oh, I was so mad when I noticed that today. But yeah, basically just finish that all up. And here's a decal just in a really pretty like brassy gold. It says Vintage Rose. This is what they had on my inspiration piece, and I kind of liked it. So I was like, I'm going to go with it. And this is nice because it didn't take me, an hour and a half to place it, because I made it kind of to have the vintage part at an angle and then the rose part to be straight. So yeah, buddy, we didn't have to wait forever to place it. So as I'm putting it on, it actually kind of started to lift in a certain spot. It was really weird. So what I ended up doing, see, it was like about to fold over. So then I just kind of took it off to the side. Sorry, it's out of frame. Took it off to the side, just took like a couple of little tools and pulled it back up, and then kind of put it back down. And this is when I realized, oh, no wonder it's not really working for you. You did not press it down onto the piece of wood. That's typically very helpful. And also, tip for you, I didn't know this up until recently. Christy Creates actually told me that if you do a welding of your letters, they will not be separate. So weld your letters. And then we're just going to glue it on to that tray. I do it kind of towards the bottom of the tray because what I'm going to do here in just a minute, I'm going to add some flowers on it. And I'm sorry, this is upside down. I thought I flipped it around for you. Oh, see, these are the little flowers. They're teeny tiny little roses from Dollar Tree, and they are really nice. They're really weird, like, I don't know if it's a texture thing that they're trying to go for, but they have like a residue on them. I wasn't, I love the way they look, so I felt like I could deal with it, but they have a weird residue to them. Like, I don't want to call it mold, but it almost kind of like, as it's coming off on your fingers, kind of looks like mold. So FYI, just be aware of that. So I put them off in the corner, and I'm kind of using like the leaves on the top of it, as you saw, just to kind of cover up the stem. And as I'm placing them, I'm like, oh, it makes so much more sense to put the glue on the actual like item instead of putting it on the tray. Then we're going to put these little like almost like fern pieces down, and I'm going to cover it up, with the roses, and I'm just kind of building it up as I go. I placed it out a little bit beforehand just to get a basic idea of where I wanted everything. But then we're gonna just start putting them on there. And it's nice with this because like the wood itself kind of lends like a little spot for you to hide stuff in. Like you just kind of push it down a little bit, like underneath that little bit of the wood. So my recommendation is if you do something like this, when you're gluing it, put all of your glue like in the middle, because this gave me like a spot to put down the roses. When I say glue in the middle, I mean the glue in the middle of the little plaque. So we're just building them up, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of thinking I want to spread them out. This is going to be my bigger grouping of flowers, so I just kind of decide that this is where I'm going with it. And we're just going to keep on building up those flowers. Sorry about that. Usually I do all of my like video editing and voiceovers and stuff when the kids are not home. So that was one of them trying to come in the room. So as I was saying, I do kind of start to like layer up all of those flowers. I do want to cover up all of that stuff there in the middle. And when I'm placing these, I'm kind of putting them like facing upward, because my thought process on this particular thing is that I was going to put it either on a wall or I'm going to put it like on a stand. So I want those flowers to kind of face you as you're looking at them. So, and what's really great is this whole thing is all from one of the picks, one of those little mini roses picks. And so I just thought that it was just like this greatest like little deal with all of the flowers that I got from it. So now it looks like it in this particular shot, like there's a spot missing the flowers, but I thought it looked okay in person. So I was looking at it for like a few minutes, like, do I want to add any more? And I decided I wanted to add a little bit more down to the bottom. And originally I was like, well, should I just do these 3? And then I kind of feel like there's like a little spot missing. Like, you see down there at the bottom of the 3, I was thinking I was going to leave it alone. And then I was like, I don't know, maybe it's too much, it's not enough. I went back and forth. You guys will have to let me know down in the bottom if you think I should have left it off. So I put a little dab of, a little bit of that little leafy stuff off of the pick. I'm going to add a couple of these little pods. They're like little pods. It's supposed to be, I guess, the flower opening up into it. This particular pick from Dollar Tree, I tell you what, if you find it, you need to get it. It comes in a few different colors, but this is the only one that I'd found of it. So now that I've done all of that, I'm just kind of adding, again, a little touch of different things off to the side to kind of give it a little bit of balance. And here it is, all finished. I am in love with it. So let's go ahead and go into the next one. These are all like metallic stuff I'm going against. We're gonna do a pretty good coat of this moss colored paint again. I'm going, I think, with basically all of the same colors throughout this whole project, all of these projects basically. So we're gonna just do a full, coating of the greenish tone here. And I was thinking with the green tone, I mean, I think it's pretty popular in the shabby chic type of thing, but then it's got a lot of distressing to it too. So that's kind of where I was like, this is kind of like shabby chic and farmhouse kind of intermingled a little bit. You guys can let me know if I'm really off base on my choosing of styles. I'm not very good at picking out what style is what, so you have to let me know if I'm wrong. So once I did that, I kind of felt like it needed, again, something else. So I went in with the plaster again. Like I said, I'm basically working with like the same 3 paints throughout this whole thing. So just going through, giving it a really good coat. And I really felt like the foam brush did the best job on this. I was thinking like a paintbrush, it would go on too thick. I didn't want to, completely coat everything, but I wanted to still give it, kind of like a barely painted. Obviously it's not barely painted, it's, pretty good amount of paint, but I'm just going in with just a small little bit. And you can definitely probably still get away with doing this with like a stencil brush too. Just depends on how, how much thickness of this paint you want to go for. And we're going to then go in with the antique wax, and we're going to start doing that. Here in a minute, what you'll notice is I'm kind of slowly going to build up different things. I'll do that same, way of things. Goodness gracious, I cannot talk tonight. Sorry. I'm going to do the same idea where it's like going back and forth between all the different colors, all the different elements, I guess, on here. So we're just basically layering it up, layering it. So as you watch me paint, I do want to let you know I have a really exciting thing coming up towards the end of February. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but I want you guys to make sure you have your notification bell on. And check out my community tab here and again because I do put stuff on there as well. Here I decided to go in a little bit with the chalk paint from Waverly in Elephant because I felt like I needed to tone down some of the shininess that was still coming through and also blend out a little bit of the green. I felt like it was a little too heavy in the green. So that is why I added that on there. Both sides, again, you know, of course, you got to do it to both sides. It'd be funny if you didn't do anything to one side, wouldn't it? So, like I was saying, though, definitely make sure that you have your notification bell on. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I really enjoy doing giveaways, and my new favorite way of doing them is not to tell anybody that I've done it. So, there's not one in this video, but make sure you're keeping an eye out on my videos. I had two, I think, last week close, so make sure you're keeping a close eye out for those. So see, on this one, I went ahead and went back in with the antique wax because, again, you're just kind of layering stuff on. And next, I thought that the writing was basically like non-existent anymore, so I went ahead and just put it on. You know, I just colored over it with that black paint marker from Arteza, and then I took my brush. I don't think I put like any new product on it. I'm just kind of going over it. Oh, I lied. I did put on the gray. I did the gray. That's what it was. Originally, I thought I was going to sand it off, but I was afraid if I sanded it, I'd get too much of the shininess back. So I was like, well, I have the gray open already. I'm just going to put that on there and kind of dull it down a little bit, but not to the point where it was before, because before it was, you know, it was definitely way too much. Next, we are going to use a, you know, pool noodle from Dollar Tree. We're going to cover it in some moss. I realized I had this moss the other day. I was like, oh, I definitely could use this. And it's a big mess, but it's okay. That's why I keep it in the bag. That way I just kind of pull out however much I need. So we're going to do that. And here is how I styled it with all the flowers. And I think it's so, so pretty for spring. It's like perfect for that. Now this one's a pretty easy one, so I take this frame that I got from Dollar Tree. As much as I like the print, I'm deciding, you know what, I need to do something else with it. I did a little bit of that moss on the frame, and then here I did a full coat of it on this canvas. This is just an 8x10 canvas. I went back and forth on like what to do because I was taking the frame out and I put the glass down to do something with the paper, you know, to make something to fill in with it. And I broke the glass. So I was like, well, that's going to have to change because that's not going to work. What I had planned on doing was, you know, putting the glass back on it. And then I was doing a couple different things, trying to figure out what else to do because I knew I wanted to do, you know, 3 projects. And then I was like, oh, I have this flat canvas. This would be perfect. We're going to like basically make this sucker a little bit more finished, more done, you know. So I went, obviously you saw I did with the antique wax, and then I put on some of that plaster, and then I'm going to go in with the moss again. Moss paint, that is, not moss, like the messy stuff. And I'm going back and forth, kind of trying to mush it all together. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be very, very blended. I want it to just give it just a really smudgy look almost. So once that is all said and done, we're going to take one of these wall decal things from Dollar Tree. It's 2-sided. You get 2 different ones. They're not significantly different, but they're still different. I'm going to use this one here, and I'm just going to cut it down, and we're going to place it. And I decided I just want to kind of place it off to one side. So I wasn't sure if I could get away without coating it, but what I did, I coated it with a satin finish Mod Podge. I'm just going to place it in the frame without the backing. I decided, you know, I don't want to put the backing on. I didn't think it would fit too well. Here it is. And then what we will also do is we're going to put a hanger on it. So we're just going to add that, trim it down, and glue it on like I do pretty much any other time I hang something. The way I like to do it, I will put down some glue and then push in the twine or whatever it is, and then I'll put the glue over that. So that is just kind of the way I thought would be the easiest way to, you know, put it on there. So like I said, just put that down there. I get my little handy dandy tool. If you need to know, that is from Dollar Tree too. Here it is all finished. I thought it just looked really pretty, and again, it's very good for spring. Here's all of our projects all finished for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is my first Shabby Chic video I've done. I would like to do more if you would like to see more. So please let me know down below if this is your favorite kind of stuff, if you like more traditional farmhouse, you like modern farmhouse, you like traditional decor, whatever it is you like, I want to know. So again, I am so appreciative of everybody coming in and checking out my video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you guys next time.